Hi guys, so this is mine and baby boy's 2 and 3 week update. I know I said I was going to do them weekly, but I didn't realise how hard it was going to be with a toddler and a newborn. And it's not that I don't have the time, it's just if Jasper is sleeping or at nursery, then I want to be kind of bonding with the baby. And if he's sleeping, then I want to just be relaxing. And yeah, it's just nice not to have that pressure. So yeah, he's now 3.5 weeks. On Sunday, and it's now Wednesday. Yeah, so 3.5 weeks old. So this will be everything from when he was 1 week up until now. So his second week, he's a really noisy one. His second week, we just had loads of visitors. Pete was still working from home that week, so it was a bit easier because he was still there to help me out with everything. On the Thursday, he had his first photo shoot. And it was just lovely. It was so adorable. It was the longest car journey because we had to go from Southampton to Poole. And it was just me and him in the car. And he did cry for the last like 15 minutes of it. But what was really weird is when Jasper used to cry, I'd get really anxious in the car, especially if I knew that we weren't going to be stopping anytime soon. But with him, I didn't. And I don't know if it's because, this is what I think it is anyway. He's such a big boy that if he is crying, like I know that he's getting enough milk. Whereas with Jasper, I was also worried he wasn't getting enough milk, and he wasn't particularly tiny, but just breastfeeding wasn't great, and he was putting on weight, but with this one, he's putting on weight really, really well. So with Jasper, I'd always worry and be like, oh my God, he must be starving. Whereas with this one, even though he is crying because he's hungry, it just didn't bother me as much. Only like 10, 15 minutes in the car anyway. And it's probably as well because he's my second and you're more confident. Oh, I've just dropped my phone. You're more confident the next time around anyway. So yeah, that was really, really good. I've got one picture so far and she should be sending me through the rest of them this week. So hopefully I'll be able to share those with you as well. And my pregnancy ones because I still haven't actually bought those yet. And then on the Friday, he had his 12-day health visitor appointments. He'd seen someone on day 3 and day 5. And I was so pleased because he'd put on 12 ounces, which was just amazing. So he'd gone from £8.10 to 9.6. Is that right? Whatever it was 12 ounces and he was then 9.6. Yeah, she said that was really good. So that made me feel really confident, especially because I'd had mastitis and it had been so painful and I'd resorted to formula that one day. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, then just look at my previous update and you'll see kind of what went on in the first week. But yeah, and I'll speak about my boob situation after this as well. I'm going to do his update and then my update. So he was in the 91st percentile for his weight and he was also in the 91st percentile for his head circumference, which I can't remember what it was, but it was just a normal head circumference. And then what was really, really like, I was going to say impressive, not impressive, but he's in the 98th percentile for his height, which is just so weird. He is really long. Like when you look at him, everyone says he's a really long baby. I think especially because he's got quite skinny legs and skinny feet, so it makes him look even longer than he is. Obviously Pete's really tall. I don't know how tall he is. I'm short, so for me I'm like, how did I have such a long baby? And then everyone's like, look at your husband, he's really tall. Yeah, so he's in the 98th percentile for his height, so he's definitely going to be a tall one, and I can kind of see him overtaking Jasper at some point because Jasper's not short but he's not particularly tall, so we shall see. So in his first week his eyes were quite gunky and they kind of started to calm down a little bit with my breast milk. Oh, what's the matter? You need to come for a cuddle. Come on. Hello. See, look how tall he is. Yeah, so his eyes started to calm down a little bit and then they got bad again. I'd started to then use water wipes on them, either breast milk or water wipes, but the health visitor said that colostrum, like the first bit of your breast milk, is good for that, like putting on gunky eyes and things like that because it's got all of the antibodies in, or antibacterial properties, whereas once your normal milk comes in, it's actually got a really high sugar content, so she said it's not actually that beneficial to any kind of infections or like if you have a gunky eye or something. So she said just stick to cool boiled water, obviously going from the inside and out, one wipe, disposing of it and then getting a new one. So I started doing that and that cleared up by his 3rd week. In his 2nd week as well, his skin started to get quite bad. He had baby acne. He's still got it now actually, which is what Jasper had. Baby acne sounds horrible, but that is what the doctor told me it was when Jasper had it. And yeah, it's not that bad. It's just a few spots. Some of them come and go within hours. Other ones are always there. They're more like under the skin bumpy ones, and then he does get some like pussy spots. It is like acne, but that should go within a couple of weeks. And another thing as well, his skin started to get quite peely, more just around his ankles and his wrists. That was quite dry, but then there were areas on his stomach that were quite like sunburn, but just they were quite red, and if you rubbed over them, the skin kind of like rubbed away. It wasn't like dry skin that does, it looked quite sore. Again, the health visitor just said not to worry about that and it would just clear up. So that's him for his first week. And then for me, so I mentioned in my first week, I've just put here hurts to poop. In my first week, I didn't poo for the first like 4 days. And then every time I do now, it's not really painful, but it's just uncomfortable. It still is now at week 3, but yeah, just a little bit, I guess just because everything moved around up there and it's all just going back to normal. It's not like a problem that I'd go to the doctors for, but it's definitely a little bit more uncomfortable than normal. So I probably just need to drink more water and more fibrous foods or something. My bleeding slowed down. It stopped around day 10 for like a day, and it was like getting less and less up until then, and then it kind of picked up again. I'd say at the 2-week mark I had like some clots and stuff, and then it got a bit heavier and now it's slowed down again. So in my last update I mentioned that I just started antibiotics for mastitis. They kicked in within like 2-3 days. I think I even said on that update they'd already kicked in. I carried on taking them for the whole week, so up until like day 12. But yeah, that had pretty much gone by like day 3, so that was really good. So my second week, my boobs were back to normal. I was getting more energy again. I was less achy. I was achy from like breastfeeding and leaning over because I've got really bad posture anyway. It's just weird. I just feel like I'm a bit empty there now, like not emotionally, but just physically. And I kind of like lean into the space that was there. And obviously when I'm feeding the baby, I lean forward. So I've got a new breastfeeding pillow coming because my back's been really, really achy. But the aches that I was having before, like my legs and my arms from labour, that's all gone. Another thing as well is by the end of week 2, I was back in my normal clothes. To be honest, I was after a couple of days anyway, but I was wearing like maternity jeans and like maternity leggings and stuff just so that it wasn't too much pressure on my stomach. I wasn't, like I didn't have a painful stomach or anything, but I just thought I don't want to go out in like size 6 skinny tight fitted jeans and then be really uncomfortable. And even now, like now I'm wearing maternity jeans, but they're ones that I could only wear for my first couple of months in the like, is she pregnant, is she putting on a bit of weight stage. When I had a bump, they wouldn't fit. They're just like little waistband ones. So I wear these now just because they're more comfy, but I am back in size like 6 to 8 stuff. But I cannot wait to get back to the gym. Not because I want to lose weight at all. I want to put on weight and I want to build muscle and tone and strength and just get a bum back. Because at the moment, my boobs are bigger from breastfeeding. My stomach is flat. I've been really fortunate with that. And then I just have no bum because I just didn't do any squats or anything during pregnancy or even before. So yeah, I just want to get back to it. As soon as I've hit 6 weeks, I'm going to start going back to the gym and swimming and stuff like that. Oh, and another thing, in my week 2, if you watch my pregnancy updates, you'll know that I had a lot of migraines in the last few weeks of pregnancy. And then they stopped and I just thought like, oh, it must have been a pregnancy thing because I didn't have any for my first week. And then my second week I had 1. Again, it only lasted for like half a day and then it went and I haven't had any since, touch wood. Can't reach any wood, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully that's in the past. Okay, so on to week 3. So baby boy, he didn't poo for the first like, I'd say the first few days he did like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he didn't poo at all. And it wasn't until I was at my family's house on Sunday, it was either Saturday or Sunday, and I was saying, you know, he hasn't pooed for a few days. And then he did one. And then again, he's hardly pooed since. It seems to be every kind of like 2-3 days, he'll just do a little one. Whereas before it was like after every feed, he would do a full-on poo. I'm not concerned. I did Google it and a lot of things say like breastfed babies can go like 10 days to 2 weeks without. And he doesn't seem uncomfortable. He kind of does. So after feeds, he seems to get a little bit fractious and a bit gassy as well. Yeah, he does a lot of smelly perms and I always think, oh, he's done a poo, and then I check and I'm like, oh God, no, it's just a perm. Really, really smelly ones. And he gets a bit like grunty and he goes all red as if he's trying to do a poo but can't, but then he's not crying, he's not acting like he's in pain, he's not lifting his knees up. I did think it might have been colic at one point, but everyone's like, you'll know if it's colic. And yeah, his stomach's not particularly hard. He's doing loads of wheeze. So I think it is just because he's a breastfed baby, that's just what's happening. He is getting quite fractious in between feeds. So this week, I'd say quite consistently, he'll feed every 3 to 4 hours during the day, and then at night time, he kind of cluster feeds. He'll either have a night where he'll do like every 2 hours waking up and like feeding off each boob and going back to sleep, or he'll wake up every 4 hours but will be up for like 2 to 3 hours at a time. So the other night he woke up at like 1, he'd feed off a boob, fall asleep, I'd go to lay him down, he'd wake up, so I'd feed him off the other boob, go to lay him down, he'd wake up, and it would just be constant for like 2.5, 3 hours. Then he'd sleep for like an hour, and then he'd be up again. So technically he's only waking up like every 4 hours, but he's up pretty much all night anyway. So yeah, they kind of tend to be my options at the moment. Neither of them give me much sleep, but it's fine. But yeah, during the day is a lot better, and I do get a lot longer breaks, which is nice because then I can get things done and I can spend time with Jasper and I can relax and stuff, so it's not too bad. In his 3rd week, his eyes completely cleared up from being gunky. His skin has got slightly better, but he still does have a lot of spots. The peeliness has completely gone from the skin on his body. What else? His eyebrows have got really light. So at first his hair was really dark all over his head. He had quite a prominent like hairline, and his eyebrows were quite dark. They've gone quite blonde now, and his hairline has gone from like here up to here, which is weird because I thought they tended to lose their hair like on the back of their heads where they're rubbing on the bed. But yeah, his is just on top. So this week we got his heel prick test results back, and they were all fine. He also had his hearing test, and that was absolutely fine as well. Another thing as well is we named him on Sunday. So when he was 3 weeks old, we decided on a name, and that's Arlo Bear. However, I'm not sure if I want to name him that anymore. We haven't had him registered yet, so it's not set in stone, but people were just giving us a lot of pressure to name him, and Pete really wanted to name him. Obviously I did as well, I just wanted to be really sure. For me, I really liked Arlo, Jensen or Jackson. Pete really liked Bear. So we've been calling him Bear, but for me, I just thought I don't want his name to be Bear. I'm not sure. I like it, it's grown on me. A lot of other people like it. I feel like for a baby it's cute, and for an adult, you've got people like Bear Grylls. So I think it can be quite a manly name, but I feel like he's gonna have that in-between stage at school where people will be like, Bear. So I don't know, and I know you shouldn't worry about what other people think, and there are much stranger names, but I don't know, I'm just not sure about it. So we decided to go with either Arlo Bear, Jensen Bear or Jackson Bear. Went with Arlo Bear, and then when people would ask me what his name is, I'd feel really weird saying it, and I'd be like, his name's Arlo, well, it's Arlo Bear, but we just call him Bear. And I'd feel like I'd have to like explain it, and I don't know, it doesn't seem right to me. So yeah, we might change it to Jackson Bear or Jensen Bear, or maybe just Jackson or Jensen, and then we just call him Bear anyway, because Jasper is still called Bubba. He was called Rabbit for like the first year of his life. So yeah, I don't know, I really don't know, but whenever people ask me and I say Arlo Bear, I don't know, I don't feel confident in it, so we shall see. So that's it really for him. In terms of him being like a bit fractious and going a bit red and stuff after feeds, I've just been trying to burp him more, because with Jasper we never had to burp him. When he was breastfed, he just didn't need it, and then when he was on bottles he didn't either. He was just one of those babies, he wasn't sicky. That's something as well, I don't think I mentioned it, he's quite sicky. Not like a projectile sick, but he's just one of those babies that needs a muslin under him all the time, because he just does like a little burp and is sick. And it's just milk, I think, because he gets a bit greedy and goes for it a bit too much. So yeah, I've just been trying to burp him more, keep him on my boob, because he kind of takes too much in and then he comes off, and I think he's then taking in more air, and that's what's making him burp more and be a bit gassy and sicky. So yeah, I've just been trying to do that, burp him and make sure my latch is proper. In terms of me for my 3rd week, I thought mastitis had come back. I got a bit lazy with my latch because the mastitis then went. I thought, oh yeah, it's great now. And I got a bit lazy with kind of remembering which boob I'd fed off of last, and yeah, like my latch and stuff like that. And there was one day where I felt really fluey and my boobs really hurt, but I just fed through it and got back on it with my latch and timings and all stuff like that, and it's been fine since. My nipples are quite sore because he is like cluster feeding a lot, and I have realised now as well that the pain that was kind of going through my nipples and like it felt like it was going into my boob, it was just a nipple pain. And I've realised as well that it is just the latch on the inside of his mouth, so I don't think it's like permanent damage from Jasper or anything like that I thought before. Yeah, I think it is just that he's not putting the nipple further enough back in his mouth, so I'm just trying to focus on that now. What else? Still uncomfortable to poo a little bit. Bleeding has slowed right down now. Like, I probably don't need to wear a pad, but I do just in case, because I freak out that I'm gonna, yeah, be out and about and suddenly need one. Tiredness, where he's been cluster feeding the last few nights, I've literally had like 3-4 hours of sleep each night, and then been non-stop with Jasper, especially because Pete's gone back to work. He went back to work last week, But this week we were back in routine, so we had like Jasper's baby gym yesterday, swimming today, and I've always got people there to help me out, but it's still like tiring. But it's good, it's keeping me going and it's getting me out the house and being more productive and stuff, so I'm not complaining, that's fine. But yeah, this week I felt okay in general, more energy, more productive, but just a little bit tired when I wake up in the mornings. Excited to get back into the gym and just, yeah, start kind of getting back to being me a little bit more. Okay, so here is my stomach. It's a bit, oh no, that is stretch marks. I was gonna say it's a bit liney from my trousers. So these are the maternity jeans that I mentioned I've been wearing. Try and show you a bit more. So I don't know how much you can see, but I've still got the line down here. I can't remember what it's called. That's actually a spot. I've still got a stretch mark here and a few like little ones here. And as you can see, it's a bit like saggy around the belly button. But yeah, it's pretty much right back down to how it was before, which is not bad. And that's it. That's our 2 to 3.5 week postpartum and newborn update. I will try and keep it up and do like 4 week, 5 week, but I've just been enjoying having time to relax. And like I said, it's not that I haven't had time, it's just when I sit there and think, oh, I could film now, I then think actually I'd rather just sit here and cuddle him or just watch a movie and just stuff that I never used to do. Like I haven't really blogged. This is the first video I've done in ages, but I'm enjoying it and I feel like if I, this is the time that I can do that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like, comment below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!